What's up, everybody? I am BLAYDE, Alabama, and you are officially back in my world. I want to give you all a story time because one of my day ones asked for a story time. I don't want to call your name out, but GH, you know who you are. Unless you are okay with that, you can call yourself out in the comments and in the comment section. But I didn't want to do that. But being that she asked for it, I figured that it was time for me to give you this story time because I've been debating on how I want to give it because I want to be sensitive to the topic overall. So warning, this story time will be discussing us and the R word. So if you feel like you're going to be triggered by this, exit stage left now. Do not watch this video. Okay? So now that I've given you your warning and you are still here, I want to say what I want to say. Lord, let me get my crystals, okay, so I can get this right because I'm feeling a little off. Okay, y'all, I had to get my crystals so I can get my thoughts and head together. But okay, so for those of you all who are new to the channel, quick refresher, I am a nurse practitioner. My specialty is women's and children's. So one of the things that I'm certified in is I am what they call a SANE. That is a assault nurse examiner. And essentially what that is in a nutshell is because I didn't know how we did our kits and all that whole process here in Alabama. You know, I'm a huge fan of Law and Order Special Victims Unit. And I was wondering to myself, do we have a special victims unit? Like, how do we do SA here in Alabama? And what I discovered is it's nurses. Okay, no surprise, right? So you have to have a particular background, and it just so happens that when the interest came to me, I prayed about it, and the Lord fixed it where they had some openings, and I went to the class and I got certified to do our kits. So you know when you watch Law and Order, when your survivor comes in, because we don't refer to people as victims around here if they made it. You are a survivor, point blank, period. So when you survive something like that, you can always go to a hospital or what have you, but 9 times out of 10, they will call us. Of course, for smaller kids, you know, that's more a different direction, but we're talking about for like teenagers and up, male and female. So they call us and we're on call. So this particular night, I'm a night hawk. I was the person that was on call from like 6 at night to 6 in the morning. So that means when the phone rings, you go. And if the phone rings 2-3 times that night, you go. You have to be dedicated to this. You can't be in this thing if you're not dedicated. So this particular night, I get there and it's a teenager. That's all I'm going to say about that. An older teenager, but a teenager, high schooler. And her situation was that someone she knew, which in a lot of these type of cases, believe it or not, it's usually someone you know. It's not the stranger in the alley that snatches you off the street. Typically is someone you know. Statistics show that. Someone she had, she was not dating, just platonically friends with. And the person pretty much set her up to fix it, whereas, because I can't give you details, obviously HIPAA, but the person set her up to drink something that was odorless and tasteless, and when she woke up, there was, I'll just say, empty wrappers on the floor, and she didn't know anything. So, ooh, y'all, I hope y'all don't get emotional on this. And I'm not very much an emotional person myself, but this case is a little bit emotional. That's why I have my fan on. I hope you can't hear it behind me because I'm hot just reliving this. So in this scenario, y'all, let's focus less on that, because I want you to experience what I was experiencing, okay? I want to take you on a journey of what it feels like to us to have to be the ones to help people in crises like this, or any type of crisis, really. I want you to know from our perspective what it feels like for the fight. Because I don't know about you all, but when I watch Law and Order, and I know a lot of survivors will say this, when you watch Law and Order, you watch Law and Order for the fight, because you recognize that all the times a survivor doesn't get justice. So you want to see Olivia and Stabler and Ice-T and all the characters. You want to see them do the fight for the survivor. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to focus on in my story time. We're going to focus on the fight. Because in my head, that's what I wanted to do for these people. That's why I signed up for it. That's why I prayed to God for it. I wanted to give the fight. And who knew that one day I would actually have to fight for a survivor? Careful what you ask for. But oh baby, the Lord sent the right one that night. So I want you to know that she felt like it was all her fault. And in this situation, we have something called an advocate, because our job in this situation is to focus strictly on the forensics. My job is to collect information, take photos, get the swabs, all the forensic parts, and dive in and focus on that. It's the job of my advocate to kind of comfort, soothe, talk, break the tension, the ice in the room with the survivor, so I don't have to be emotional. I can be in straight forensic processing mode. You know what I'm saying? Collecting mode. And they kind of ask us not to be emotional and kind of not be too involved so we can focus. Because if you can imagine, y'all, this takes a lot of mental strength to be able to get through. Sitting across from someone who's had something like that happen to them, and the energy that is exchanged in the room in between people is something that is just palpable. Okay, so my advocate and I both understood that this situation was a little bit different because she was younger, and we felt the need to build her up because she was totally blaming herself for this. So we built her up. We got through the question portion. We got through the examination portion. She had taken her shower, was able to change her clothes. And now we get to the part where an officer comes. Now, this officer is not like an Olivia or Stabler, okay? It's not a special victims detective. It is just a regular person that's there to kind of take your statement. So this particular officer came from a city in Metro Birmingham, because the crime happened in this particular city that is Metro Birmingham. So this place is, the cop came from there. And, you know, I left him, my survivor, her best friend, and my advocate in the little living room section, because it's kind of set up like a living room to make it comfortable, less like a hospital. And I left them in there for him to ask his questions and to collect his information. Now, the area is very small, so I want you to understand that I can hear everything that he's saying and what she's saying back, because I'm going back to the processing room because I need to dip her urine to check to see if she's pregnant. Because, you know, we're going to be giving Plan Bs and things like that, you know, and certain things you can't give, obviously, if somebody is pregnant already. So, y'all, I'm telling you, and I'm going to have to act this part out. I'm telling you, I literally was fumbling. when I heard what he was saying. Because I'm sitting here trying to get the top back on the urine because I had did the little drops for the pregnancy test. And I heard what he said. And I was like, ugh, I almost just spilled urine everywhere. You all are going to have to give me permission to cuss because I'm finna be me right now. And that's why my mother can't watch this video. Okay. So I'm fumbling, trying to get the gloves off because I hear him saying to her, what were you thinking? I mean, why would you even put yourself in a situation like that? So when I finally put it down, because the room that I am is a secured room, it's locked. Only I can be inside of that room. And I'm kind of having my body with the door half open, half not, so I can do this but still hear out without the door locking. And I'm making sure the keys are on me so I don't lock myself out the room. I mean, I'm just fumbling at this point because I'm trying to get to her. And as the door slams, I take my 3-4 steps to where she is and I peep around the corner. And I literally, y'all, I have to show you how I peeped around the corner because in that moment, I was her mom. I myself ain't nowhere near old enough to be her mama, okay? But, well, unless I had her as a early teenager. But I was in mama mode. The way I came around that corner was like this. Like literally. So when I come around the corner, you are right now are her and her best friend. And I'm looking at them. I'm not even looking at the officer that is standing. And I want you to know, y'all, he's standing towering over her. Like, what were you thinking? She's sitting on the couch. What were you thinking? You're not supposed to put yourself in a situation like that. There's no reason for you to be in a situation with males and da-da-da-da. So when I look at them, they look at me like this. Like the children in them came out. They were little girls again. The fool in me was finna go off. Do you hear me? But I heard the Holy Spirit say, it's not about you, Blade. That, baby, there's a reason why why my nickname is Blade. Okay? It's not about you, Blade. You're in protection mode. So I walk past him and I sit on the arm of the couch next to her. I slide on down because I told you our job is not to be emotional. Our job is to focus. I slide down. And you have to understand I'm talking to a survivor. So you have to be mindful about if it's okay to touch people. They've already been touched. They don't want to be touched anymore. But in that moment, their eyes was telling me everything that I needed to know. I slid down the arm in that chair because survivor is sitting in between me and her best friend. And I put my arms around her. And I'm not looking at him as he's standing still towering over us. And I look at her and I say, you didn't deserve any of that. It is not your fault. Baby, do you understand? It had taken us the better part of 2 hours to build that girl's self-esteem up. To build her up to the point where we finally had her believing and knowing that she didn't deserve that and it wasn't her fault. And for this black man to do this to this black young lady was disgusting to me. And I looked at best friend and I gave her a soothing look because she was distraught. She didn't know what to do. But I gave her the eye contact and she read it. She put her hands on her friend's knee and she grabbed the other side of her. And I had the other side of her. And I told her, I said, you got this because we have you. You didn't deserve this, mama. And in that moment, do you know he had the nerve to backpedal and pussy pop? Oh, no, I wasn't trying to imply. Oh, no, I wouldn't mean that. Then I looked at him and he stopped talking. Because he saw the look that I was giving him, baby. It was a death stare. Because I wanted to punch him in his motherfucking face for doing that to that child. And he saw it. And I don't care how big and tall he was. I said, sir, are you done? He said, oh, yes, I've asked all my questions. Here's my card. I snatched the card out of his hand because she looked at me like, do I have to touch that card? Baby, I was giving her all. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. I am here for you. I am your advocate. I snatched that card out of his hand. I told him that he politely and still professionally told him that he can exit the premises. I walked him to the door, locked it, and secured the building. And I turned and I looked at her and I said, you are safe. Because in that moment, that girl did not feel safe anymore. I let her know that I have the keys, that nobody can come inside this building unless they have a code. He is out. He is gone. You never have to see that person again. And don't you know, that is the first question she asked. She wanted to know if that was going to be the detective on her case. So I had to tell her, no, ma'am. That is the person that takes your statement. I said, like on Law and Order, you asking me if that show is supposed to be stable. She said, that's what she was like. I said, no, they actually have real SVU detectives, and you have someone that is assigned to your case that is that this is what they do every day. That person is not for you. This is just a statement taking police officer. This is not your assigned detective. And she breathed, but y'all, she didn't want to do it anymore. She was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I don't think I can. So we told her, you don't have to do anything you want to. You are in complete control. But we did explain to her the process and how it goes, and that she would never have to see that police officer ever again. So let's stop right there, because I need you to know about the fight. My advocate was distraught. She said that she had been doing, this was my first year doing this. And she had been doing it for years and said she had never seen anything like that before. And she was like, girl, you did that. You handled that. I said, no, ma'am. I couldn't have done it without you. Because when I tell you, it was like a tennis match in that room between me and my advocate. Whenever to build this young lady back up where I couldn't sleep. Once I got home, I typically take a shower, and it takes me about an hour to kind of digress and woosah, but I couldn't sleep with that. I don't think I got done with that case anyway until maybe like, I don't know, I probably got home maybe at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was up, and I did not want to disturb the director immediately because I was on the hunt for the fight. Our director comes in at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I said, I'm not going to hit her at 8 o'clock. I'm at least get her to 8:30 before I hit her with this. So I called our director, and we're going to call her Amber. I said, Amber, I have to talk to you about what happened last night. And she said, okay, Blade. She knew something was up. So I explained to her what happened, and she was appalled. And I said, what do we do in this situation? Because we need to make sure that this officer never comes back here again. We cannot take people coming here and not feeling safe. This is supposed to be a safe place. We can't ever have him come back again. What's the protocol? What do I do? And she said, we've never had this happen. I don't know that we have a protocol. She said, well, do you have an idea? Do you have, what would you like to do? I wanted to hear Amber. Come on, Amber. That's what I wanted to hear. I said, well, I would like to call his superior, report it, and ask the superior to make sure that if an assault ever occurs again in this particular city, that this officer is not dispatched here ever again. She said, I said, but I don't want to step on any toes. She said, girl, you do what you feel like you need to do for your patient. So, that was what I wanted to hear. I called the captain of this particular police department. I shared with him what happened, and I told him, and he was floored. And he actually told me, he said, okay, I said, I want you to know that on behalf of Amber, the director of this program, we would like to unwelcome him forever. He is no longer welcomed on the property here. No longer should you dispatch him for this ever again, per the director. And if you would like her information and phone number, she said, I can give it to you. The man was like, no, we don't have to do all that. But what he did tell me was this. He told me that he was very shocked that this particular officer would respond to this young lady the way he did, because without him going into too much personal detail, he said that this officer's daughter had just experienced something very similar. Wow! And he also made the point of saying that this particular officer is a baby boomer. And, he said, that particular generation has feelings about males and females being friends. Now, okay, we're not going to say this about all baby boomers, all right? All baby boomers are not that shallow, all right? But he made it a point, and I did factor that in. I factored in his age. Regardless of what you believe in, it's still your job to remain professional. And I made that clear. And he said, oh, absolutely, I agree with you. So, needless to say, he was X'd out forever. And that's my story time on the fight for this young lady. I will tell you that I don't know the details of the case because that's kind of not like our part. Our part is just to collect the forensics, collect the information, put it all in a kit, and the police departments come and pick it up within a week, and then they do with it what they will. I have always prayed for this young lady. She stayed, obviously I'm telling, she's still in my cerebrum, cerebellum too, medulla oblongata, all that. I still remember her. I still pray for her because at this point, she should probably still be in her late 20s at this point. And I'm sure she lives with it every day. Not knowing what happened. And to know that children did this, y'all. Children did this. This was high schoolers, okay? To know that children, young male children, are R words this young. And I'm not saying that it wasn't some older people possibly involved in this, but for what we know for a fact, it was high schoolers, out of school, doing fuck shit. And I just was like, Lord have mercy. So to the survivors, I want you to know we don't forget you. We don't. I want you to know that we carry a lot of y'all traumas with us. When we go home, we still think about you. We still pray for you. You're not forgotten. Trust me, there's somebody in your process. If you chose to report, there's somebody in your process that remembers you and that still prays for you to this day. I want you to know that because it's real. Thank you all for tuning into my channel. I'm not going to edit any of this. You all going to get it exactly how I gave it. And come back and see me again.